There's a shot on Stony Clove. All right. One thing I want to try to show you is that we know this spot's depositional. We know it now. I don't know when we actually learned that there was low stream power or the ability to move sediment, and that this bridge, like much of our highway infrastructure, lands where the river flattens out. That's where you got to put stuff. That's where people are living. So we happen to land in a lot of the most vulnerable spots across the landscape, and this is really magnified in a mountainous landscape. So let's talk about dredging. I'm sure it's going to come up, so I'm going to jump the gun here. You dig out a hole in the river, right, and you make capacity. Now, when that bridge was closed off, there aren't many options. Another flood comes. There's nowhere for the water to go except downtown. But there are places where we might be able to not dredge, and these are the reasons you don't want to. One of the first ones is you create this nick point, right? You can't dredge, or it's not cost effective, and it's huge impacts to water quality and habitat to dredge a whole river, so you dredge a piece of it in the profile looking downstream. And that destabilizes the area. So that dredged area will migrate upstream. If there's people and infrastructure, the banks will become unstable, the river channel will cut down excessively. So you can initiate a whole process that destabilizes a much larger area. You know, a major tenet of river management now has to be we cannot increase risks to other people when we do a single action in the river. Rivers go through natural trajectories. They do cut down in the landscape, but they also preferentially sort their material. The bottom slide shows boulders and coarser material aren't naturally armoring the bottom of the bed. Rivers tend to create, especially in mountainous landscapes where there's coarser material, they tend to create these natural cobble beds and armored beds of boulders, right? Think about what happens when a flood comes, more sediment goes on, we get the machine in there and we start digging. If you cut through this layer, you are initiating a process that will change the river's course for a very long time on the geology scale of it. Right, this natural armor layer is a critical aspect of what we do in our rivers. We always need to know where it is vertically and make sure people working in the rivers know. So in the bottom right, we were making our rivers and our riverscapes very rigid historically. We got to get water, get stuff in the river and get it out of our way. And then people were saying, well, there's so many water quality impacts with that. River management and infrastructure design was all about water. For a long time, and now we know it's really all about sediment and debris. Okay, so when we change woody debris, we're affecting the stability of many kinds of channels. Small mountain streams rely on wood for their stability. Clearly they have huge roles in habitat, and so areas where trout fishing is essential, wood can make up half of the base of the aquatic food web, so wood is essential to leave in your streams. And sediment goes one-in-one with the stability of a river channel. So anytime we change the sediment, whether we dump a big load in if a mountain fails in a flood, or we start digging it out after a flood, we are really changing the course of the river and the stability of it.